Hi, I am talking with you via video because I am at a conference in Wisconsin Dells and could not make this class. I chose the book from the virtual bookshelf. I Beat the Odds by Michael Oher. It is his side of the story from the movie The Blind Side, which was written by Michael Lewis. That has more of the football take if you read the book. The movie, not so much, but the book is very much so about the football, and this is meant to be more about Michael's life. He starts out with a quote that's pretty powerful, saying, "It's true that we can't help the circumstances we're born into, and some of us start out in a much tougher place than other people. But just because we started there doesn't mean we have to end there. Throughout this whole experience, I have started to realize just how true that really is. Life is always about maturing and becoming a better version of yourself. Even after you've beaten the odds, there is still room to grow. I know I have, even over this past year." And he goes on and he thanks the people that have worked with him. Specifically, he gives thanks to Miss Sue, the woman who tutored him in high school. This book depicts his childhood and then getting into high school, how sports were really what helped him the most, but then he needed the academics as well to succeed. He did have one thing starting the book that had me a little confused, where he said Leanne Tui, the family that adopted him, is quoted as saying that I would have been dead from a shooting or the bodyguard to some gang leader if I hadn't been taken in by their family. I think that had to have been a misquote, because despite the sensationalist things that make for a more dramatic story, what my family knows and that I know is that I would have found a way out of the ghetto one way or another. Failure was not an option for me. So he's very emphatic that it is his desire for something else that helped him the most. And at the end, he even gives some advice to other kids in foster care. In the meantime, I pulled out a few quotes or sentences from the book about his childhood, because I didn't want to give the whole thing to you. But for us as educators, these are very relevant things, and actually the whole entire book is very well written in that it gives you an insight into what things are like for students living in poverty, and how maybe we just don't even know what their experiences are. Here were some of his experiences from elementary. "You're not poor if you know where your next meal is coming from. I lived in a car with 7 people for a month. We piled on top of each other and kicked each other to find the best place to sleep. School while I was in foster care was not optional, and that took a lot of getting used to. They were all on top of homework and bedtimes, which we didn't have when we were at home. In foster care, I became a runner. Runners are kids who leave foster care and go anywhere else." He really still did not want to be away from his family, but then coming into high school, he realized that a couple more things about himself, and these are quotes from him going into his middle high school years. "Sports were going to be my way out. Other than sports, I didn't have anything I was happy about." But while he was in sports, he realized a couple things, like every time you lash out, slack off, or sulk, you're playing into the stereotype that they have decided you are. And then regarding his academics, saying, "You don't work that hard if you're just a lump. I was driven by something, and they decided that I must have wanted that education badly enough, even if it looked hopeless." And thereon you have, if you've seen The Blind Side, it's pretty closely depicted in his version of the story of what happens. I would like to end with a couple of the things he said to other kids in foster care. "There are a lot of things you have to look out for. You have to keep an eye on your own conduct. You have to be careful about the friends you choose. You have to be on the lookout for mentors. You need to be ready to work hard, and you need to be smart about money. It may sound like a lot to juggle, But as we break it down, I think you'll see how it all comes back to your determination to make smart choices. Thanks for listening today.